Hi everyone. Today we will discuss the moon, motion of moon, phases of the moon. Uh, the moon moves in different ways. It rotates around its axis and it revolves around the earth. As we discussed before, that earth revolves around the sun. It takes 1 year, almost 365.25 days, and the same we did discuss before at the moon that the earth rotate around its axis uh, one every once every 24 um, hours, okay, which makes the day and night. How long it takes the moon to rotate once it revolves around earth? Okay, it orbits earth once every 27.3 days. Here is the moon rotating around the earth, and here is anybody facing the moon at a certain point. It takes 27.3 days. Phases of the moon is visible only because it reflects sunlight. So moon doesn't create its own light, but we can see moon only because it reflects sunlight. Okay, so if we discuss the phases of the moon, you will see here the earth starting from here. If you are standing here in this part of earth, your country is here. So you see the moon. In this case, moon is between earth and the sun. When moon when the moon is between earth and the sun, you see the sunlight of the moon faces away from the earth. So sunlight facing this part, and but you see this part, so the half facing earth is dark because it's in shadow. What we call it new moon. Okay, so if you facing this half of the moon away of the sunlight, because sunlight is directed to the second half of the moon, so you see the moon in shadow, what we call it new moon. Okay, during the 27.3 days, moon will orbit around the earth. So the angle you see in which you see the moon will change time over time. In this case, after some days, you will see a part of the moon will be clear like that, like a crescent. So what we call it waxing crescent. After 1 week, also you will go for the first quarter and you will see the moon like this half circle, and more days will pass, you will see the moon from your place. You didn't change your place on earth. You will see the moon like that, which call it waxing gibbous, more brightness area for the moon, and then you will see the moon, in this case full moon, because you see the brighted part for sunlight rays like that. We go for the sunlight is directed to this half, so you will see the full moon. So new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, then waxing gibbous, then full moon. After we will repeat it, but in opposite way. So full moon, you see, will start go for waning phases. Waning phases start with waning gibbous. In this case, after moving moon, also you will see from Earth the full moon will, some part will be not as it is, so it missing a part in the shadow. So this one is calling waning gibbous. Then last quarter half circle, so then it will again see it as waning crescent. It's like a crescent, different than this waxing crescent. Then will end by the part, half part facing sun, other part in the shadow, so you will see it as dark. So this is the new moon. So these are the phases, waning and waxing phases of the moon. So waxing phases of the moon, during the 2 weeks following a new moon, more of the moon becomes visible, waxing phase, as the lit portion of the moon become larger. Waxing phases are waxing crescent, first quarter, and waxing gibbous. Waning phases during the 2 weeks following the full moon is what? 2 weeks are there, then following by another 2 weeks, because the total is like 27.3, almost 4 weeks. Okay, after formation of the full moon, another 2 weeks. During the 2 weeks following a full moon, less of sunlight side of the moon visible, so as the lit portion of the moon becomes smaller. Okay, so the lit portion of the moon here become bigger over time during the 2 weeks. Then the second 2 weeks, the lit portion of the moon become smaller. These are waning phases. The waning phases are waning gibbous, last quarter, not the first, okay, then waning crescent. Then we'll go for new moon again. So what about eclipse? Eclipse occur when one body is in the space blocks sunlight from another. The moment when Earth, Moon, and Sun on a straight line, one body like Moon or Earth will block light from another, which is the Sun. The formation can block the sunlight and create an eclipse. So eclipse is occur when one body in space block the light from another. Solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse is the eclipse, sun eclipse, okay? Solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves between Earth and the sun. So multiple choice question, when moon moves between Earth and the sun, so we have solar eclipse or lunar eclipse. It's solar eclipse. The moon blocks the sun completely, but you still see a ring of glowing gases around the moon. We have total solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, according to the place of your country or place you are in on Earth. Okay, so we go for the sun. This is the moon between sun and Earth. Sun lights going like that. Okay, people on this area, which called umbra, facing this dark or total solar eclipse, and people on this area, which called penumbra, they will still the ring of glowing gas around the moon, so they will have a partial solar eclipse. Okay, total eclipse, moon prevent to see the sun at all, and here partial solar eclipse, you see the glowing gas around the moon. Lunar eclipse, when the Earth is between Moon and the Sun. So solar eclipse, Moon is between Earth and the Sun, and we have total solar eclipse and partial solar eclipse. But in case the Earth becomes between Moon and Sun, so we have lunar eclipse. Earth casts a shadow on the Moon from sunlight. It will exert shadow on the Moon. The half of Earth facing the Moon, because now Earth blocking sunlight to the Moon, and just only um, uh, shadow on the Moon is there. So the half of Earth facing the Moon see lunar eclipse. The Moon is caught in the darkest part of the shadow here. Okay, so people on this half of Earth facing the Moon see a lunar eclipse because Earth blocks the sunlight. The Moon usually reflects. The Moon looks darker and redder than normal. So people here in Ambra will see the Moon red and more darker. Again, Moon between Earth and the Sun, so we have solar eclipse. People here in this black area, Ambra, will see total solar eclipse, but people here in the penumbra will see partial solar eclipse. And okay, and for lunar eclipse, in that case, the Earth is between Moon and the Sun, and people facing the Moon, this part of Earth will see the Moon more red and dark. Okay, so I hope it was very easy for everyone, and see you soon.